I just wanted to go over Unit 5, Assignment 3, and just make sure that you're understanding this. So I'm gonna record myself and just send this video over to you through YouTube. Okay. So I'm gonna share my screen, and we'll go from there. So number one is let's say, so make sure that you have, obviously, when you're adding you're adding fractions. You are getting a common denominator, right? So it's 7y over 6 minus y over 2 plus 2y over 9. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to find a common denominator between all three numbers. It just makes it a little easier. You could do 2 at one time. Excuse me. You could do 2 at one time, but it's better just to do all three. So 18 would be the common denominator here. And so what are you going to do? You're going to multiply this by 3, right? And then you're going to multiply this by 3. So it's going to be 21y. It's going to be, you're multiplying this by 9. So you can multiply this by 9. So it'll be 9y. And then you're going to multiply this by 2 and multiply this by 2. So it'll be 4y. Okay, and so when you subtract all of, when you put these all together, it's going to be 21 minus 9y, which is 12y. 12y plus 4y will be 16y, so it'll be 16y over 18, which would then equal 8y over 9. Okay, let's do number 4. I'm going to do a few of these. So number 4, let me clear this. Number 4 is 12 over 4k minus 20 minus 1 over k minus 5. All right. You can multiply both sides by, each other. Like you can multiply this side by k minus 5, and you can multiply this fraction with 4k minus 20. But if you notice that here, they have a common factor here, and you can factor this out. So this will be 4 and then k minus 5 here. So instead of using this, you could just use this. And this is why factoring is super important, because now it's a much shorter path here because you already have the k minus 5. So you just have to multiply this fraction by the 4 on the top and the bottom. Okay, so this is 12 and then 4k minus 5 minus, and you multiply this by 4, so it'll be 4 over and then 4 and then k minus 5. Okay. And then this equals, so then you subtract these two to be 8 over 4 and then k minus 5. And you could simplify, because this number and this binomial are multiplying, you could simplify just the 4 and the 8. So that just becomes 2 over k minus 5. Okay? Let's do number 6. All right? Number 6 is y over y minus 8 minus 6y plus 80 all over y squared minus 64. Okay, so when you do something like this, right, again, you would probably factor everything you can. So look through each of these terms and factor as much as you can. So I'm going to factor. So this stays the same because you can't factor anything here, but you could factor on this fraction with what is 4? No, 6. Just 2 goes into this, so it'll be 3y plus 40 over, and then this is what, y minus 8 and y plus 8 when you factor the bottom part, because it's a difference of squares. Okay, so all I'm doing on this side here is I'm multiplying this side by y plus 8. So the top and the bottom, y plus 8. So it becomes y squared plus 8y. And then I'm going to distribute this minus sign with this 2 over to both of these. So it will be minus 6y minus 80 all over, and then y plus 8 and y minus 8. Okay, and that equals y squared plus 2y minus 80 all over y plus 8 and y minus 8. I am not sure. Maybe you could factor this. Let's see, 80 and, yeah, maybe we could factor this portion right here. So this could be y plus 10 and y minus 8, right, if you factor this. So you get rid of these, and the final answer is y plus 10 over y plus 8. So factoring is huge here, okay? Yeah, factoring is a huge, huge issue or thing, right? Let's do some of the ones on the bottom. Let's do number 14, and then that will be it, okay? So number 14, we have n minus 13 over n plus 2 plus then n squared minus 1 over n squared minus 4n minus 12 minus 2n minus 5 over n minus 6. Okay, so as I said before, you want to factor as much as you can. Every single, so you go here, you can't factor here. You can factor this right here. So it'll be n minus 13 over n plus 2 plus, and then this will be n plus 1, n minus 1, because that's a difference of squares. And this is what? 6 and 2, so it'll be n minus 6 and then n plus 2 minus, and then you can't factor anything here, so it'll be 2n minus 5 over n minus 6. So there's a lot to do here, okay? So if you look at the common denominators, okay, this is missing a n minus 6, so you multiply the top and the bottom by n minus 6. This has both factors, but this doesn't have an n plus 2, so we're gonna multiply this by n plus 2. And make sure, again, you're multiplying this as a binomial, as with distributive property here, or FOIL method, sorry. So when you do this, there's gonna be a long answer, so it'll be n squared minus 13n minus 6n plus, and then what's 6 times 13? I don't know, for some reason I can't get that. 13 times 6, 78. Plus, and then we're just gonna bring this back, n squared minus 1. And then remember, this is the hard part, minus, sorry, you know what, let's FOIL this out and then we'll distribute the negative. So this is still the minus, and then we'll put this in parentheses. It'll be 2n squared plus 4n minus 5n minus 10. And then we have to distribute this negative. So it'll be minus 2n squared. This is minus 1n if you combine like terms. So that will be plus n plus 10. It'll be 1 minus n squared plus 78. And then plus, this is 13n. Yeah, this is n. So it'll be minus 19n and n squared. So you combine like terms here. This is going to be quite a process. So it'll be n squared plus n squared minus, so that eliminates itself because the 2n squared minus 2n squared is 0. You have negative 19n, and then you have a plus n, so it'll be negative 18n. There's a plus, and then plus 78 minus 1 is 77. 77 plus 10 is 87, right? Yeah. All over, and then n plus 6 and n minus 2. Since you can't factor this out, this is your final answer. All right? I hope this helps. Again, let me know if you have more questions and we'll go from there.